Hey everyone, I'm Darnell Weeks. This is the second episode of the Darnell Weeks Show, and we're here with musician and filmmaker Mr. Frank Palangi. Frank, how are you?
Good man, what's going on today?
Not much. What's up with you, bro?
Just hanging out. It's been a little rainy here, but pretty good. Not bad.
I
Representing a Halloween t-shirt today
well,
and
thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
oh yeah.
I saw your new film at Death's Door.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. How'd you
they
like
can go.
that?
It was okay. They can go check it out on Tubi. It's an anthology film, sort of like The Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it's more of a thriller horror. It's not really a slasher. It's based
Hmm.
off of Toe in the Water, which is Christopher Pelton's short story horror book. And he
Okay.
came to me and he was like, listen, I got these short stories. Do you want to, I'll give you the movie rights. Do you want to make a movie based off of that? Now, this is the first time that I took basically somebody's book, you know what I mean, and did a
Hmm.
Stephen King and tried to make a movie based off of it. So I'm like, okay, I'll give this a try and see how it goes. And you always hope that you end up pleasing the writer, in the end, that he likes it, or you know what I mean? You don't want to
Yeah.
take somebody's work and just completely just throw it to the other side.
So for those that may not be familiar with you, you are both a filmmaker and a musician, and you began your journey by creating fan films based on the Halloween Michael Myers franchise. Now, with that
That
in mind, my first question is, why is Michael Myers your favorite horror icon? I shouldn't even say that. Is he your favorite? Is he your favorite icon?
Yeah, he was the first one actually that I saw. Well, it's actually him and Jason. So
Yeah,
I saw both movies back to back, but Halloween was first and then Friday the 13th was on after it, which
yeah.
Jason wasn't even in the original Friday the 13th. But that's what started it. And no, it's funny. I Michael Myers is my number one, but I tend to collect more Jason stuff. Like I'll
Yeah,
have probably more Jason posters than Michael Myers just because of the look of the hockey mask, I guess, or whatever.
yeah, I always like the hockey mask as well. The second part of my question is, why do you think so many fans are captivated by Michael?
Just the story, the original movie, even the first two, it's so the original Halloween is so simplistic but effective and scary and it's dark too as well
Yeah,
and but
yeah.
it's not a gore fest. It's not it scares you. It taps into, I think what John Carpenter said, it taps into something in your psyche, and
Mm,
it's not exactly showing you the guy's head being ripped off or what you see in the Jason movies. It's
yeah.
so for me, I was like, oh, I could use my imagination. We don't always have to film something. Like something can go off camera and you just use your imagination.
Hmm.
So I think that's what intrigues me. I mean, as you know, all the sequels and stuff got gorier, but
Yeah.
and the music is the number one thing that drew me in, and I was like, I got to do my own music. I got to do this. This is what I got to do.
Yeah. And so with that in mind, you're also a musician. Could you share with the audience what initially sparked your interest in music? What motivated you to
The
pursue a career specifically as a musician?
I don't know about the career part, but the music is was from the movie The Crow from Brandon Lee. You playing the guitar
Yeah.
on the rooftop. Second I
Yeah.
seen that, I go, I want one of those. I want to play. I want to learn what he's playing. And the soundtrack of the movie too really inspired me. So it was that, and then my friend that came over gave me a burned CD of the Black Album and Ozzy's, I think it was Down to Earth record, and or Blizzard of Oz, one of those. And I
Yeah.
listen to that and I go, wow, I go, this is the stuff you got to learn to play guitar, to really play guitar. Because I only kind of I knew like Green Day at the time, I knew Good Charlotte, kind of the punk bands and stuff. And I'm like, the power chords on guitar only go so far. I was like, you got to learn all this metal stuff, and so, but I instantly liked it, and I started playing on the high school talent shows, the local TV networks and stuff, and then it just eventually after high school, I just decided I want to do this full time. I want to do music full time and see where it goes. I want to make my own music, my records. I want to play out this and this. So I just made a decision. But in between there, like you were saying, I've always made fan films because I love movies in hopes
Yeah,
that I could make my own someday.
yeah. So, I
So
mean, but have you been booked professionally as a musician?
yeah, for a lot of years, I did it professionally for like 15 years up until COVID hit, and then I transferred back to the movies. But yeah, I opened up for Three Doors Down, Buck Cherry, Trapped Fuel, a lot of the 90s rock band, Winger, Jack Russell, Great White, who just passed away. We did a show in 2019. So I opened up for artists kind of that way, and then I worked with different people in the studio. Then I did the traditional bar gigs, the weddings, the anything that you can get to make income, recording
Yeah.
people in my home studio, mixing and mastering stuff. I mean, it kept going and going and going.
Well, that's great. I've always been proud of you. I've always admired your work. And I want to thank you for taking time to be on my show. Thank you so much.
Anytime. I know you've been following me for like what 25 years now or something, so I'm like, this dude is
Yeah,
old school.
yeah, yeah. I've been watching you since 2008. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So thank you so much. Earlier in our discussion, we talked about your love and appreciation for the Halloween franchise and your work on the fan films. Now, John Carpenter's Halloween undoubtedly had a significant impact on the film and entertainment industry. And I noticed that you
Yeah.
are now making your own films and you have an impressive number of credits on IMDb, including Souls of the Damned and Killer Tales. And you've got this new movie, At Death's Door, which are currently on Tubi.
Yep.
That's an incredible achievement. Tell us, how did that come to be? Like, how are you on Tubi? Because Tubi is a huge platform. I mean, it's not as big as Netflix,
Yeah,
but it's
but it's the
huge,
free one.
right? So
Um,
how did that come to be?
so after COVID, and so we had a house fire like 2021 or 2 or something like that. And my studio was in shambles, all my music gear was burned up and stuff, and I had my camera and I was like, I literally have nothing else to do and nothing I could do, while we rebuilt the house and stuff. And so I was like, well, I got my camera. Somebody just reached out and he goes, listen, I watched your fan films and stuff. I think they're great. I think you could do some original movies. So if you do an original movie, we'll put it out. So Cinema Epoch, which is a company in California, one of their directors contacted me and I was like, okay, I could take an old idea that I did a couple episodes on YouTube called The Lost and then make that The
Mhm.
Lost Chronicles and make the movie version I've always kind of wanted from it. And that's how it started and it has not ended. So The Lost Chronicles, Killer Tales, Souls of the Damned, they're an unofficial trilogy. Then there's the American Psychopath movie, which The Mask is actually back there. And and then I started this new At Death's Door, like I said, based off the guy's book. But this new series is based off of a town called Warren County, which was in the Halloween movies. But I actually live in the real Warren County, so I
Oh, really?
figured, yeah. So I go, that's
Wow.
cool to do a double thing. So all my serial killers and stuff like that, everything takes place in Warren County for the new set of movies that are coming. So even though like At Death's Door is the current movie, I am 3 movies ahead of that already. So,
Okay.
but how you get on like the streaming network, their distribution company. So I made a movie for a distribution company, and then they put it out, and then I just been doing them ever since. Um, at Death's Door is the one that I have done myself. I actually distributed it myself this time just to see the difference between working with a company or doing it yourself.
Okay. Well, are there any rules for being on Tubi? Are they strict? How does it go?
Yeah, yeah. There's rules and stuff, even down to the editing, the audio, the cuts, where you place text, the titles, your stereo mix, the quality of the files, the type of files, you name it. It's it's a laundry list of things. But once you
Wow.
kind of recognize that and can get around it, you're like, okay, you know, I think I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So what is your end game? What is your ultimate goal as a filmmaker? What do you hope to accomplish?
To grow and expand. I've always been that way with my music too. I kind of, I'm a rock guy, so I do rock and hard rock and metal, and I kind of stay in that vein, but I always try to keep growing with every single project and keep pushing myself. I mean, so I'm like, I love horror movies, so even since the fan films, you watch my first fan film to like the new Trick or Treat thing, they're entirely different. But yeah, it's a progressive thing, and it's you want to do better. Obviously, I want to do it for a living, so you have to keep going in that direction. But it's really tough. I don't really have an end game for it because I always say there's no plan B. So I'm literally just gonna keep doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
And we've discussed your music career and we discussed you working on these fan films. So my question now is about this new film At Death's Door, which is an anthology film, like I said earlier, like The Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Um, so my
Creep show we
question,
thought of too.
yeah, and my question to you is, how did you develop the ideas for each story in the movie? And what inspired you to create your own anthology film? Can you tell us?
So it was based off the guy's book, right? So I chose a couple of the stories that were, I don't know, stuck out in my brain. And they were short. I mean, they were maybe like 2 pages or so. So I'm like, how do I take a story I like and lengthen it and add characters and add all this other stuff? And some of the dialogue is from the original stories, tweaked a little bit, and then a lot of it is just me writing it too, expanding and stuff. And I'm really good friends with the writer, so every step of the way I was like, here's my outline for these 10 pages or whatever. What do you think of it? And he was like, yeah, that's great, let's do that. And then I would send him stills and rough footage and stuff like that, and I'd say, how do you think it's looking and stuff, and he'd always say, yeah, oh, it's that's great. He goes, I finally, because it was for him, he wanted to find somebody that could take what was in his brain and put it up on film, and he goes, you got it. He goes, you got exactly what I was picturing within. I call it, we make no budget movies. That's what I call it. I mean, it is low budget movies, but I say no budget because all the movies I ever made, I don't really have a budget. So it's, it's extremely tough to go further from there if it's always on your dime, or you can't quite afford, to rent out a huge location or have huge production value and that kind of stuff. But with me, the cameras, the audio, the mixing, the lighting, that's number one too, as far as like, if you're gonna put a budget too, make sure that's solid.
Have you been contacted by any studios to do any films for them or to do any kind of work on set or anything like that?
I've gotten actually some acting jobs because I act in the movies too, based off of that. I've gotten some music video work just from local artists and stuff too. And I've gotten like a few other things too, like, oh yeah, you've made this movie and stuff. Could you take my idea and make a movie based off of it? So the current movie I'm editing now, it's called Farmhouse, and one of the actors in the movie, he's in a band, he's got a podcast, he works for a music magazine. He's like, what if I came up with an idea? And he goes, could you make a movie based off of that? So I've had some interest in there. As far as like studios and stuff like that, not really, except for with the writer, we've been talking with some other directors and stuff, and they want to develop like a series of some kind. So I might
Okay.
end up hopefully working with them on something. I don't know about directing it, but just being around it, which is fine with me.
And if and when you transition from independent films to major motion pictures, which actors or directors in Hollywood would you like to work with and why?
On a realistic level, or one that would be like, oh, I just always wanted to work with him.
Just whomever, who do you aspire to work with? What are your aspirations? Tell us.
So I guess the fantasy world would be to work with Arnold in a horror movie because I
You
love Arnold
mean
Schwarzenegger.
you mean Arnold? That's what I was going to say. You mean Arnold Schwarzenegger? Really?
Yes, throw him in a movie where he just like, I think he'd be so good at something because I watched that movie Maggie, and that was a horror
Yeah.
movie, and I was like, I think he'd be so good at like a sheriff or somebody in like almost like a Scream movie or something. And
Hmm.
but anyways, he's one of my idols from the Terminator movies and whatever, so I'm like, it would be great to work with him. Um, Stallone is kind of another huge one that's had an influence on me too, and like Dolph Lundgren. So a lot of the '80s action guys.
Yeah,
Um, but you know, I don't know if you interviewed Brad Lorray from Halloween 8,
I
but
did.
you did, yeah. So I thought, so I met him, and I got to sit down with a screening for Halloween
Yeah.
Resurrection with him, and I did an interview with him as well. And I actually might work with him on something coming up. And
Okay.
you might think, oh, it's Halloween Resurrection or whatever, but that was like one of the first Halloween movies I
Oh no,
seen.
let me tell you, listen, I love Resurrection.
Yeah,
I absolutely love Halloween Resurrection. I
yeah,
love that film. So I'm not worried about what the haters are thinking. I don't care. And
yeah. It's part of the
I love
franchise, so
right. And I
it's
love this. I love the fact that you respect it, and I love the fact that you want to stay in canon. That's what I've always loved about your films. Like I said, this guy, he's not trying to ignore any of them, any of the first eight.
no,
So,
yeah, that's right.
so
There's a way to
I
make it
like
all
that.
work, is
Yeah,
this there? It might not be simple, but well, that brings me back to the last question is like if I actually say Universal or whatever hired me to do the next whatever Blumhouse movie or something, it's like I don't think I would actually get huge name actors. I would because I'm indie. So I would like to
yeah,
help out other indie. There's other great indie actors in movies that I've
hmm,
seen that I'm like, he would be an awesome this. They would be
yeah,
an awesome that. They just haven't bloomed or whatever it is.
yeah.
And that's what I would do. But as in Halloween, you have one actor that is like a Donald Pleasance that has been around a little bit, and you incorporate
Okay,
him in it.
yeah. Frank, I want to thank you so much for being on my show. If anything develops or if you have something else that you want to talk about, just reach out to me and we'll set it up. So thank you so much for being on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the second episode of the Darnell Weeks Show with my guest, musician and filmmaker Frank Palangi. Mr. Palangi, thank you so much for being on the show.
Anytime, man. I appreciate you following me and supporting through all these years. A lot of years.
Yeah,
Almost 20
2008.
years.
Yeah, man. And so where can people find you on social media?
You can actually type in Palangi Films under Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, find me there. Personally, you can just Google my name and you can find all the links and stuff everywhere, but it's palangifilms.com
And
and
how did it, wait, is that a real studio or is that just something that
yeah. Oh yeah.
is it real? Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I was gonna say is most of the movies are on Tubi, but some are on Fossum TV, Troma TV. They're on YouTube. They're on a few other apps too. So
Frank, you know what? I got to give it to you, man. I am really impressed if you were able to get there. I'm going to tell you straight, Tubi is not going to contact me. They're not going to want me to be on their platform because I'm very outspoken, let's
yeah,
say. So they're
yeah.
they're
I know.
not going to ask you. You look, you've been on my page for a while now. You know how I am. So they're
Yep.
not going to contact me, but Frank, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, man. Sounds good.
All right, talk to you later.
All right. See you later, man.
If you have any questions about the show or you would like to be booked as a guest on the show, you can email me at darnellweeksshow@gmail.com. Once again, that's darnellweeksshow@gmail.com. Thank you.